Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. When you're healthy, you have 100 problems. And when you're not, you have one. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. This is kind of a tribute to a friend of mine. Some of you listening know Andy Ebon and miss him maybe as much as I do. And this is something that I heard him say years ago. And unfortunately, he passed from health issues. When you're healthy, you have 100 problems. And when you're not, you have one. And if you've ever gone through a health issue yourself or somebody close to you has gone through a serious health issue, you know how true that is. Everything stops, and the only thing that matters is getting healthy. So it's funny to say to somebody that I wish you have 100 problems, but let's face it, a lot of the problems in our lives are really not that big of a deal, especially when you compare it to things that could be a big deal, like major health issues. And some of us, if you've read my book, Your Attitude for Success, you know a little bit about my health issues that you wouldn't know by looking at me, or as my doctors say, I look better in person than on paper. But this is where you have to take the time to take care of yourself. And it's easy to put other things as a priority, especially when you're starting a business or running a business, and there's a lot of things that are going on there. It's also one of those things where I can't tell you to exercise. I can't tell you to stop smoking. I can't tell you to lose weight or anything, because it's not up to me. It's up to you. And you've probably, if you've run into that yourself, if you have your friends or relatives telling you to do one of those things, or if you've been trying to tell somebody close to you, again, stop smoking, start exercising, lose weight, whatever, you know how hard it is, because unless it comes from within, it's disingenuous. It's not going to, they're not going to follow through with it, because we don't have control over the other person. Right. Only they have control over themselves. And even then people have trouble, what do we call willpower? I could be a few pounds lighter if I didn't like cookies as much as I do. And I guess good and bad gluten-free cookies are now pretty good in a lot of places. So yep, there they are. And I know that, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm taking care of myself in the rest of the way, and I'm exercising and taking the meds I need to take and getting checked out. And that's another thing there is, don't be afraid to go get checked out, because the downside of it is you hear about people all the time. I just heard a terrible story. Somebody had to leave and go pay a condolence call to a neighbor, 42 years old, died, 4 kids, 12 and under. I mean, just terrible. I was in that situation. I had what they call the widow maker, where it was 90% blocked in my left anterior descending artery at the same age, actually at 42. So that hit home to me. And the difference being, I went and I got checked out, found a problem, got the problem fixed, was able to move on. And here I am many years later, even though I've had other issues, because it's genes, it's hereditary, getting checked out. But you hear stories all the time about people that had the opportunity to get checked out and they didn't. Some people just don't want to know. There's heart disease on both sides of my family. So yeah, kind of want to know. Is it affecting me or not? And then what can I do moving forward? Certainly modern medicine is moving forward every day with all kinds of, wonderful advancements. So the idea of, if you're healthy, you have 100 problems. Yeah, but there are 100 problems we can deal with, right? And if you're not, take care of yourself, because you're not good to yourself, your family, you're not good to your either employees or employer. You're not good to your neighbors. You're not good to your house of worship or the groups that you belong to. You want to be valuable to yourself so you can be valuable to others. So I always say that my priorities are first my health, because if I'm not healthy, I'm not good to anybody else. Then the health of my family, and then everything else after that. If everybody's healthy, healthy and happy, yeah, we'll move on to the rest of it. We can deal with the rest of those things I can deal with money and inflation, and I can deal with business, and I can deal with pandemics and all that. Just got to stay healthy. So in tribute to my friend Andy, who, when he was healthy, he had 100 problems. Unfortunately, he had one problem a lot of the time, but it's just a great way to look at life. I wish you 100 problems, because when you have those, it means you have your health. And if you have that, you have a lot. So sorry if this was a little bit deep, but I saw this note that I've been wanting to talk about this, and we have to take care of ourselves. And I want to see more of you, and I hope you want to see more of me, and, have 100 problems. It'll be a good day. Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com. alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.